Now this was going to be a simple video with an unboxing, and I shot an intro and even got quite far into the editing before deciding to stop and rethink the approach. So yes, I bought a watch, and yes, I said I wasn't going to. But I have indeed bought a new watch to celebrate starting my new job, and despite calls to wear my Speedy on the first day, I have worn this newcomer for the past 2 weeks. And this is the crux of the issue. By making the video about the unboxing, I haven't had time to wear and enjoy the piece and give a balanced appraisal of it. And what I've discovered is, well, this is some watch and excellent value. So let's unbox the Tissot Gentleman. I'm Andy and welcome to the English Watch. So why did I buy this watch? Well, before we answer that question, if you like this style of video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and leave some comments at the end. Now if you want to jump straight to the review, I'll leave a timestamp in the description, so just hit that. So I was in town a few weeks ago as I wanted to see what all the fuss was about with the new Tissot PRX, so I dropped down to Goldsmiths to have a closer look. But I tried it on and I didn't like it, so that was that. This watch had a great display case presence, but I just didn't get on with how it fit on my wrist, which just goes to show that you should be careful when it comes to hype with certain watches. Always try before you buy where possible. You wouldn't spend £300 on a pair of shoes unseen, would you? While there, I was taken by another Tissot sitting next to the PRX in the display case. It had a green dial like so many this year and was well proportioned and good value at £675 for an 80-hour automatic watch. In fact, this green and the anthracite, both with the silver crosshair dial, were pretty new to the lineup. Now when I think about Tissot, I think about granite and the rock watch of the 1980s. It's one of those things that stuck with me since interrailing through Europe back in 1988, staring through those dealer windows in Luzerne. And then back in 2015 with Simon Pegg's use of the T-Touch Solar in Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, that sparked my interest in watches again, where time was always running out for our heroes. I nearly bought one of those. That seed of product placement almost worked. Once I got home, I had a good chat with myself. After all, I had already said I would not rush into buying another watch anytime soon. But it's been over a year since I felt the joy of buying a new watch, and I had amassed a few quid from the Google ads on this channel. It's not enough to live on, but there was just enough to fund this bit of fun. So I went online, found a discount code and placed the order on the Goldsmiths website. I paid £573, saving 15%. And to my amazement, the watch was courier delivered to my front door in less than a day at no extra charge. Okay, let's switch views and go back to the unboxing in the original video. So cue shirt change. Okay, inside we have brown cardboard box. Right, so let's take a look. And no bubble wrap or anything inside there. It's loosely fitted. No big wooden sarcophagus like the Wyoming is. A very simple, small box with a cardboard sleeve. Tissot date back to 1853, so they've had a number of logos in their time, and these are all outlined on the outside of the carton, as you can see. Right, let's. So I don't know which way around it goes. So the Tissot's there, so I'm assuming that this bit comes up, and immediately we are presented with some loose things. So this looks interesting. Look at this little pop-up factory from the look, and that little bit of origami is a bit of surprise and delight. And you can see here the watch is in fact a Gentleman green dial. So let's just put the watch down for a second and see what else there is of interest in here. So we've obviously got the, I'll call it a cushion, it's more like a toilet roll tube with a cut in it. Down here we've got it's very simple cardboard. I mean, yeah, these are very low value relative to some of the more expensive pieces that we tend to own. An instruction manual and 2-year warranty card just nestling in the bottom. Yeah, it's been filled out by the authorised dealer on the back, so the serial number, the date of purchase, so 12th of the 6th. Good stuff. Good to know that someone's actually been in there and done the due diligence. Right, let's put all that back together again, because we may never go in there again. So this watch has all its stickers, all its hang tags. This is fantastic news fresh from the factory. Got a Watches of Switzerland Group hang tag. And then here you have the Tissot hang tag. Right, so let's get into it. Okay, let's peel this bit off. Very exciting. It's already running, it's an automatic watch. It's not ticking, so they haven't sent me the wrong one. We've got this small blue piece there, doesn't seem to do anything useful. We've got the bracelet sticker. Very satisfying. 1. 2. Oh, if you haven't noticed, I'm wearing my Tudor Black Bay GMT on the brown leather strap. Doing a video on this one soon. I had a custom made strap made for it, so post is a bit late. Hopefully that will come very soon. We can do a review. The caseback sticker has just fallen off. My word. Certainly want to keep these things nice, don't they? That one. And that one. I think we're done. Again, obviously I've not had this size, so I bought this online. So on my wrist it'll be a bit floppy. But let's present the watch. This is the Tissot Gentleman Powermatic 80. A bit of a mouthful, and the name Gentleman conjures up amusing Japanese brand names like Fair Lady. That was actually a pretty decent motor, and known to the Western world as the 240Z. Name aside, this Gentleman has a lot going for it. Available in a range of safe and familiar colours. I'd avoid the expense of the two-tone watches. This one makes the most sense in steel on steel, striking a balance on style, quality and affordability. Is green an obvious choice for 2021? Maybe, but this fits nicely into my collection of black and blue dial watches. And it's in good company next to the green 5711 from Patek, the Moser Streamliner and the IWC Chronograph 41. Personally, I'm looking at this as a bit of a discount Milgauss, and why I was drawn to it in the first place. The case style, dial layout and bracelet all have a very familiar feel to them, giving this watch a broad appeal. The sunburst effect of the dial face pops nicely and fades almost black under certain light. The dial is simply printed, referencing the AC-hour Powermatic movement and silicium, referring to the silicon anti-magnetic balance spring. The date window is nicely framed with black text on a white disc for contrast with applied brushed stainless steel hour markers and hands. There's a little superluminova in the hands and lume dots adjacent to the indices, underlying the sports watch functionality, with 100 meters of water resistance for good measure. Size-wise, this watch is bang on the money. It's got a 40mm case diameter and only 11.5mm thick, despite the slight dome to the sapphire crystal. Lug to lug of 48.5 and 54mm across the solid end links is just on the upper limit for my wrist, with the Submariner bang on in the Goldilocks zone with 48mm and 51mm respectively. The bracelet somewhat echoes the Rolex Oyster, but is close to the Omega Aquaterra with the twin butterfly clasp deployment that is sufficiently robust with twin trigger release. Not a big taper on this one, going from 21mm at the lugs down to 18mm, giving a substantial feel, similar to that of the Tudor Black Bay. All solid end links with the centres being polished and the outers and the flanks all brushed. Unlike sister company Omega, the bracelet is held together with pins instead of screws, but I've found these to be quite easily pushed through with a pin and a small jeweler's hammer, so very easy to adjust. For my 6 3/4 inch wrist, I removed 2 links from each side of the clasp, and that's just about spot on for me. There's a little rattle from the bracelet despite having all solid links, and this gives it just enough compliance to aid comfort on the wrist. Does it feel cheap? Well, it's not as refined or as silky as the Submariner, and that's most obvious in the way the centre links are polished, looking almost over polished. But is it 10 times less good? Well, no, and we'll discuss the watch's ace up the sleeve very shortly. Now, if you're liking this, why not hit the like button? Then ask yourself why you wouldn't subscribe to a channel that only uploads a couple of videos a month. Tissot have fitted this watch with a display case back, with a sapphire crystal that doesn't appear to have affected overall thickness. There's a press-fit case back with no obvious way of removal. This may be a sealed for life movement, of which we'll get to in a minute. The Gentleman is available as either a quartz or in this case an automatic, and equipped with what Tissot refers to as caliber 11.5. This is in fact an updated version of the tried and tested ETA 2824, itself dating back to the early 60s. The mighty Swatch Group through ETA have upgraded the old 2824 to not only differentiate from the clone calibers available outside the group since the patent lapsed, but to also bring the caliber into the 21st century for Swatch Group budget brands such as Tissot, Satina, Hamilton and Mido. The C07 uses a modular balance assembly that includes the bridge, balance spring and balance, but also some anti-magnetism thanks to the silicone hairspring. Using modern manufacturing techniques, this assembly is preset by laser before mounting in the movement. Pioneered by Swatch in the System 51, there's no traditional way of regulating the balance. Now Tissot's chronometer watches have this exact same movement fitted, and despite this watching having a stated accuracy of -10 plus 30 seconds per day, over the last 2 weeks this watch has lost only 4 seconds. And this is deeply impressive. The fact that this is the same movement as fitted to the chronometer watches means all you're really paying for is that certificate. The old 2824 had a 38-hour power reserve. This has increased to an amazing 80 hours, hence Powermatic 80. This means the watch can be easily put down on a Friday and be ticking away come Monday morning and won't have lost any time due to that crazy accuracy. The boost has been achieved through improvements to the spring barrel, but also by reducing the frequency from 28,800 to 21,600 vibrations per hour, with no loss of accuracy. So summing up, I bought this watch for 2 reasons. First, I had to celebrate a new job. And second, I wanted a smart watch I could wear and go out to the pub and meet with clients without being too flash. This watch fits the bill. You could argue that it's a safe choice, but those familiar looks we discussed earlier will help keep this one in the collection with its timeless design and size. I'm sure there were a dozen other watches, potentially better watches, that I could have considered, but this was a rare and spontaneous move on my part, and to think too hard about it would probably still have me drawing up lists of pros and cons for an alternative. Where watches are concerned, you should always go with the heart, especially at this price. I was initially worried that the accuracy would drive me mad, but this is now probably the most accurate watch in my collection bar the Apple Watch. Having worn it for a few weeks now, I'd have no reservation recommending this watch as a gift or as a daily wearer. I refrain from using the word beater because I don't beat my watches, and I'll baby this one like I do all of my other ones regardless of price. As always, this is my opinion. I've not been sent this watch, I have no affiliation with Tissot or any other brands, so let me know your opinion. This is a competitive segment and there's probably other great pieces out there, so let me know which one you'd have bought instead. Anyway, I'm Andy, this has been the English Watch, take care and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.